When we talk about extreme wealth today, the conversation usually starts with a handful of highly visible names. We picture tech moguls and the massive aerospace companies they command. Or we think of e-commerce giants who dominate the daily news cycle and our shopping habits. These figures serve as the accepted public face of the global elite. But the entire scorecard for measuring these fortunes relies strictly on public data. We track the stocks they own, their corporate valuations, and the paper shares traded openly on the market. A separate tier of wealth exists entirely off that grid. There are individuals who spend millions of dollars every single year, actively erasing their identities and their corporate footprints from every public database on Earth. To find the truly wealthiest people on Earth, we have to look past public rankings and examine the hidden architectures of old money. The newly minted billionaires of Silicon Valley operate in the spotlight, but the world's most powerful historical dynasties operate on a completely different timeline. They store their fortunes in what financial insiders call dark assets. These are holdings that intentionally never appear on a public stock exchange or a standard corporate ledger. The foundation of this wealth is often locked in heavy physical reserves. Massive stores of precious metals sitting quietly in private, unlisted vaults provide a stable base immune to the daily volatility of tech stocks. And looking closely at the secondary layers of this wealth, we find them anchored by documents like this: private land deeds and resource rights dating back centuries, drafted long before modern digital tracking even existed. To protect these assets today, they employ deliberate fragmentation. A single massive fortune is distributed across thousands of anonymous shell companies and obscure offshore trusts. Because the ownership is heavily decentralized across dozens of jurisdictions, it becomes mathematically impossible for any single global tax authority to accurately audit their total net worth. This level of secrecy requires a lifestyle governed by strict operational security. The ultra-wealthy call it silent luxury. Modern entrepreneurs often use their highly visible public image to build their brands. By contrast, the old money dynasties view any public attention as a massive liability, demanding absolute, unyielding privacy. Instead of flashy consumer goods, they buy the supply chain. They acquire the parent companies producing luxury items. By owning the underlying media infrastructure, they control the narrative at the source. Negative press is quietly deflected before reaching the public eye. This invisibility extends directly to their heirs. The next generation is groomed in total privacy, attending unlisted boarding schools and growing up with virtually zero digital footprint. For these families, money is a weaponized shield used to guarantee absolute anonymity. How do they keep this wealth for centuries? Through dynastic wealth systems. Most billionaires lose their fortune by the third generation. These families don't. To defeat that statistical decay, these dynasties build a highly specialized institution known as the Private Family Office. This dedicated organization functions like a sovereign mini-government, housing private intelligence, legal defense, and wealth managers working exclusively for one bloodline. Rather than looking at quarterly returns, they map out steady, exponential growth projected a century into the future. While the public markets focus on the next corporate earnings report, these private family offices quietly engineer systems of permanent, multi-generational control. The mega yachts, the glass mansions, and the personalized rocket ships we see every day are highly visible targets. They invite scrutiny, taxation, and public outrage. The most resilient forms of influence in the global economy operate in whispers. They shape markets and narratives from the shadows, leaving no public fingerprint. The ability to influence global society while remaining entirely invisible is the ultimate standard of luxury. If you were offered unlimited financial influence and absolute control, but it cost you your identity, would you take the deal?